right. I think I got this all set up right. So today, we're gonna be reacting to a couple of finance videos that I got teed up over here. The first one is Meet Kevin, Mr. Diamond Hands himself. Just recently came out with a video title. It says, "Why I Sold Stocks and Crypto, a $20 million market bet." Now, if you diamond handing like myself, well, I've always had money on the side, but I'm not going to drag on too much. Let's get to the reaction and let's see what he's talking about, because I'm not really rocking with this. So
This is a video you're going to want to watch in its entirety, or else you'll end up like the Karen whiners who misrepresent my actions or what I believe is going on in the market. Now, you have to know these two things, though, in order to keep going. The two things you have to know is that you're always going to get radical transparency from me on this channel as to what I believe is going on in the market. I will tell you everything about what I believe is going on in the market. If I'm shorting the market, I will tell you that. I can't make a video every time I fart and buy or trade a stock. I do that in the Stocks and Psychology of Money course down below, and links, you know that. But otherwise, my overall moves in the market, you know everything that I'm doing. You know when I open a short, you know when I close a short, you know when I'm making a bet on the market or I'm not making a bet on the market. And number two, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So for example, if I say I'm going to hodl AMC for a year, I am going to do that. I'm not going to just say it and then a month later change my sentiment and sell it and just not tell you about it and never bring it up again. That happens. That's not me, though. Now, something that I do may not align with your strategy. It may not align with your hopes and desires, but ultimately, hope is not a strategy. The truth, a plan, and conviction is what creates the strategy. And that's what you're going to get in this video. Now, let's get into this video with, starts with a quick message from StreamYard and...
yeah, not gonna do that, at least not on my video. But yeah, I just want to hear the juicy part. We riding. I got a couple other videos, so
across Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and other platforms. Check them out in the link down below. All right, folks, let's get started. The onset of World War I sparked a boom for farming. Now, why are we talking about World War I? Because we're going to find similarities. Commodity prices skyrocketed. The price of wheat, hogs, milk, and corn doubled, more than doubled, leading to rampant agricultural inflation thanks to substantial shortages. Expecting the boom to continue, farmers took on massive amounts of debt to expand their operations. The average price of land, thanks to all this new debt, doubled in America. So massive inflation led to a massive real estate boom, commodity prices more than doubling, which ultimately led to a massive production boom. In the short term, it was great. High prices, high profits. However, just like all pain comes to an end, euphoria also comes to an end. We ended up overproducing, leading to an oversupply of agricultural resources. Guess what happened next? Since farmers were now under heavy debt burdens for expanding their businesses at the top of the business cycle, they had to drop their prices to stay competitive, to sell any of their products, and ultimately to service their debts. As a result, agricultural prices plummeted. And within 10 years, 60 out of every 1,000 farmers went bankrupt. That was just the start of the pain, though, because that's only 6%. But the climax came with the Great Depression.
Climax.
And it took another 10
Giggity.
years for the agricultural economy to fully recover from its pain. The Great Depression is often marked by Black Tuesday, which was October 29th, 1929. But what we generally don't talk about is what led up to Black Tuesday. The stock market experienced something that it hadn't been used to. It was speculation by hobbyists on stocks. Trading stocks became a hobby. Individuals began buying stocks solely in anticipation that price would go up. These were individuals who didn't know anything about fundamental analysis or understanding the true present value of a business. Fundamentals went out the window, which, I hate to say, sounds really familiar. But what's worse? Number two. People took on massive margin debt. Even though only 3% of individuals invested in one half of one and a 29, actually, you can be fearful, they plummeted and were good in 5 months.
Oh,
it was 5.
He's got chapters, so we should be good. And if y'all gotta leave a comment, I'm gonna set some of this up. But let me just make sure some of this stuff is working. Yeah. So obviously I'm the confidence creator. And just making sure that works. That looks good. Um let's see if we can see break even or buy the dip. Oh, here we go. Let's see.
Years. See, this sort of insane speculation has happened as well in 2000 with the internet bubble. Somebody who bought in 2000 needed to wait about 14 years just to break even on the prices they paid. That means they had to ride through the 2008 recession just to end up getting to the other side of the 2008 recession to break even on a purchase they made in 2000. That's 14 years of a 0% return on average. Unfortunately, I can't help but find some massive similarities to these prior markets to
cheap money coming into an end and disinflation. Here's my thing. So history, sometimes it doesn't repeat itself, and we don't know if how long this is gonna last for. And I'm not about to sit up here and listen through a history lesson. Fed's deadly, balance beam, psychology, weird, good news and bad news. It's just not the fundamentals that he was preaching. Reality of earnings seasons, the debt bubble, and principles loss. Let's see about this one.
Fortunately, margin debt has fallen. Margin debt has fallen 2% in November and about 1% in December. But if we compare margin debt to January of 2020, right before the pandemic, we're actually 66% more in margin now than we were then. That means in just 23 months, margin debt exploded $349 billion. Almost all of that was added since the summer of 2020. And now, since many stocks are revisiting where they were selling in the summer of 2020, individuals who borrowed to invest in stocks at those levels could potentially start seeing their principal get eradicated. And when people's principal starts getting eradicated, people really start getting nervous. Remember, principal is what you contributed to the market. Your gains getting eradicated are less painful than seeing your actual hard-earned money get eradicated. The same is true of cryptocurrencies. Most people began purchasing cryptocurrencies at the beginning of 2021. Well, if we fall below those prices, we could see the same sort of fear. Now, this means all of this together, the eyes and attention on Jerome Powell on January 25th and March 16th are going to be huge. So where's some good news? Because so far this is all painful. I mean, so far it sounds like the manifestation of our future is either more stock market declines or convictionless rallies that ultimately end up selling off, which is kind of what's been happening. Institutions seem to be selling off stocks at the last 2 to 4 hours of the trading day every.
All right, I'm bored, so I'm gonna just skip to the next video because that was kind of boring. And I know if y'all lost, if you lost me, then well, let's see about this. My $20 million bet. Let's try this one.
It's taking 2 to 10 days to respond. So good news from the Fed. Well, in my opinion, we have 3 courses forward, and then we'll talk about my bet. I believe we are teetering between 2 dangerous paths of recession and 1 neutral path. I really do believe that that neutral path has a likelihood of happening, that we're not necessarily going to go into that hyperinflationary style recession or that deflationary style recession. This is kind of just like a quick little sketch picture of what I'm talking about. I wrote myself kind of a little bit there that I'm hoping we're going to have the chill, normalized Fed and disinflation. Disinflation means inflation going down, not necessarily going negative, right? Disinflation is what we're looking for. We're hoping for that inflection point down, right? And so in my opinion, I think there are 3 paths for individuals' portfolios. Number 1, for most passive investors into index funds, in my opinion, the best answer here is probably, and not financial advice for any of this obviously, but hodl and just buy the dip. Dollar cost average your income, cut spending, increase your contribution to the market. Again, dollar cost average, and now could potentially be a time to do that.
But that's not what you're doing, because you sold everything. Interesting.
A second path could be selling to go to cash as a hedge. So there's path 2A, sell and go to cash as a hedge. Path 2B could be hodl but buy weekly puts as a way to hedge. Path 2 is all about hedging.
That's what I'm doing. And as a matter of fact, one of the puts that I had I put on his community tab. I dropped like 8,500 in it, and it's currently falling. It just expired on the 21st. But the reason why I put so much money into it was because I bet that would crash. That was my hedge against the stock market falling. And unfortunately, I held it for about 2 years and it just recently expired. So kind of sucks that right now the stock market looks like it's finally going to start falling. I got like two more puts that got about 2 years on them, so we'll see what they do. But other than that, yeah, I had a couple puts out, so we'll see what happens.
Over path 2C, you could sell just enough to eliminate your margin. And then path 3 is do nothing. So you have these 3 overall paths. 1, just DCA, keep buying the dip. Path 2 is hedge, and path 3 is do nothing. Path 2 is more of a trader mentality, right? And quite frankly, sometimes doing nothing is best, which is path 3. Sometimes continuing to dollar cost average is also best. It's the passive way to invest, the easiest thing to do. I think it's the wisest thing to do. Now, in this case, though, I personally have chosen to trade these market catalysts. Now, I could be entirely wrong. I hope I am. I hope we're at peak fear and we've hit the bottom of the market and, we rally like crazy. I don't...
Wait, so you hope that... No, you don't. Why do people cap? No one hopes that we're at the bottom and you sell at the bottom. You hope that it keeps going so you can come back in. That's the only reason why you would sell your stocks, because if you sell at the bottom and it goes back up, it's going to cost you money. So technically you're betting against the market, which is fine because I'm betting against it too. I got most of my money is in cash, but what's in the market right now via crypto and stocks, I just left it in there. I'm not even, and I mean, obviously I don't have the money that he has, but I'm not about to jump in and out. I've lost thousands of dollars trying to time the market, and everybody says you can't time it, and I just feel like he's breaking one of these rules, but it is what it is.
Really think markets can rally on anything other than January 25th and March 16th going substantially better than we believe, as I've described how the market tends to historically react. Now, I've sold 99.15% of my stocks and my entire crypto portfolio. Of the cash that I have right now, I am 5.56% short the market. So of the cash I have, I'm 5.5% short the market with a put option on the market. And it's a short-term one, so I want to be completely transparent. This means I have no margin. I have nearly $20 million in cash and about $1 million in a short position.
Let me hold $1 times $1 million.
Now, I expect to trade back entirely into the market within 60 days. This is extremely risky and has exposed me to substantial capital gains. But after buying each dip of March of 2020, I've been extremely consistent. Extremely consistent. I mean, people like to say, oh, Kevin hasn't been consistent. That's not actually true. If we go back to March of 2020, Kevin's been on this path. Buy the dip, 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 blah, 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 blah. Always buy the dip, right? Now, Kevin is changing directions. So it's fair to say, yeah, that is a change of direction. And this change of direction...
That's the complete opposite of what you're talking about, though. That's the thing that's so interesting. Because it's like, yeah, whatever.
Came suddenly. It actually came Thursday night after I, throughout the night, did a substantial amount of additional research on top of all of the years of research I already have into this economy.
All right, I'm done listening to him. Next, let's see what I got next.
Percent number on personal savings rates.
Okay.
When you...
All right, so I started watching this one. This is my guy, Jeremy. I've been following Jeremy since he was at like 10,000 subscribers. It's crazy. Now that my channel is obviously at 10,000 and my dating channel and the finance channel is creeping up on 10,000. So I got a lot of respect for all of these guys, but yeah, this is not financial advice, obviously. You really shouldn't be listening to what people are saying on the internet. Like, you just kind of gotta take it, take it as a grain of salt, because to be honest with you, nobody knows what the market is doing. Is it gonna go up? Is it gonna go down? Everybody's an expert. I'm just here trying to get paid. Like that's pretty much it, and trying to make the right decisions with the money I got. But let's hear what my guy has to say.
Well, folks, I am preparing for a recession.
Right. This one is titled "I Am Preparing for a Recession," and I am too, and I'm ready.
In today's video, I'm going to go through a lot of data, a lot of information and charts and things like that I've never shared with you guys ever before. And we're going to go through some of that today and exactly kind of what I'm looking at in this video, okay? But essentially, I'm preparing for a recession, and we'll get into all that. I've let everybody know that's part of my team, everything like that. Like expect, ad rates to be low for a while. Expect, like Hungry Bowl, I'm making sure we run a really tight budget so we don't go under in this situation, and just really watching ourselves, because based upon everything I'm seeing, I think it's a pretty darn high likelihood that we're going to go into a recession. I think the main question is, how deep of a recession is it? I will say the financial system's in a much better place right now than it was in, let's say, the '08 recession. That's good. But there's a lot to be worried about. There is truly a lot to be worried about when it comes to this recession and kind of everything I'm looking at. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this as always, and just me kind of being honest about, what I actually see going on out there and those sorts of things. Okay. So this all started, even my thought process around potentially having a recession was at the very end of December. So, 3 weeks ago or so, 4 weeks ago, Elon Musk had said this on Twitter. He said, predicting macroeconomics is challenging, to say the least. My gut feel is around the spring of the summer 22. And at that moment, I saw that and I was like, wow, Elon, he expects a recession. Like, Elon's a pretty smart dude. Like, you don't become the richest person in the history of the world without being, kind of know what's going on, right? So I thought it was interesting, but I didn't go too in depth at that time. I was just like, wow, that's a pretty big statement from a guy that is the most popular, most known business person in the whole world, right? So I was like, okay. So I just put it in the back of my mind at that moment. And what we've seen is a clear, massive deterioration.
So obviously I watched a portion of this already, but this is something, like, this is kind of why I watch a lot of these guys, because I'm pretty decent with stocks, but like, this is something, what he's about to talk about right now is something that I wouldn't think to take a look at.
Deterioration over the last, let's say, 2 or 3 months in so much, okay? So what we're looking at here, this is a Google Trends, okay? And I always say Google Trends is our friend. And if we pull up in the United States of America in the last 5 years, the search term auto loan, what we find is we are the lowest in the past 5 years, okay? If you want to talk about a bearish signal for autos going into the springtime and into the summertime of 22, it would be a situation where nobody is looking for an auto loan, okay? Now remember, Elon Musk must be seeing something out there, or multiple things out there, that make him say, I've got to go on Twitter and to all my followers, and they're all going to see this, and everybody in the business community is going to see this. There's got to be something going on for him to say, you know what, I'm going to go out and put my head out there and say, I think there's a recession coming very soon. Not like 10 years from now, but like very soon, right? Spring or summertime. And so what I believe Elon Musk was seeing was demand coming in from Model 3 and Model Y new orders dropping off. And what we've seen from Google Trends is that's exactly what has played out very recently. Model Y and Model 3 are the lowest they've been all in the entire past year. And so Tesla is likely going to put up good numbers this past quarter, in this upcoming quarter. But after that, there's a high probability they start missing growth estimates in a major way. And when you have auto loan search term tanking down, it's a really bad thing. Mortgage loan, you might think, well, maybe it's just auto loans. No, the search term mortgage loan has dropped to about the lowest it has in the past 5 years here very recently, guys. I mean, we went on this epic run from, let's call it mid 2020 through basically through about the summertime of 2021. We went on an epic run. It was great. Mortgage loans. People were really out there buying houses, looking for mortgages, things like that. And very recently, over the past 2 months or so, we've dropped off a cliff. Like, look at that. I mean, the decline is just massive, And I spoke to my main mortgage lender and the person I looked for guidance in the real estate market, and he said that it's a tough market out there.
Okay, so I mean, basically what he's saying is, like as we'd expected, since the pandemic started, the interest rates, they lowered the interest rates and everybody went out and bought houses, which is cool, whatever. The difference between this, with this possible recession that we have coming up in like 2008 was in 2008, a lot of people were taking out variable loans. So in this, while people are buying mortgages for their homes, taking out mortgages for their homes now, most people are taking out fixed rate loans. So if the interest rate is down right now and they took out an interest rate of maybe 3-4%, when banks can't hike up their interest rate, so they should be fine. Their payments won't change. But the point he's making is, to make a long story short, is the fact that people aren't buying houses anymore, which is great for us people that want to buy houses. And the thing with the car that I never understood was people were going out and buying cars and they weren't, like my car, I looked up the car that I drive, and I mean, it's a used car and it was worth like $2,000-$3,000 more than what I paid for it like 2 years ago. So it's just not adding up. And unfortunately, we're going to see how this plays out.
It's been super competitive, and he said, a lot of these mortgage companies are starting to even lay off some employees and things like that. And yeah, it's not a good look when you're falling to your lowest you've been at any point in the last 5 years, and you're expected to like keep up the great work. No, that's not happening when things like this are happening, right? If we look at home loan, that search term, same exact situation. We are the lowest now recently that we have been in the past 5 years, right? We went through such a bullish cycle for home loans, mortgage loans, auto loans, and now this is just coming down in a massive way. And remember, these are extremely important things for the GDP. These are extremely important things for people's wealth and what is likely about to happen to their wealth, okay? So this is extremely, extremely concerning, okay? Next up here, this might even be more concerning than what we just looked at. We're looking at now personal savings rates in the United States of America from June 2015 through through October of 2021. Now, the problem is this always lags. So what we saw is, we have to look way back at October numbers. The personal savings rate was falling off a cliff as it was, right? And back in October, we fell all the way down to 7.3%, which is in line to where we usually are. Now, I would almost guarantee you, if we were to see the numbers as of today, as of me recording this, which is January 21st, 2022, I would say there's an extremely high probability we are likely at a 5%, or dare I even say a lower than a 5% number on personal savings rates. When you see what's going on with this trend, and then when you say, okay, we just had a massive holiday season and those sorts of things, and there's this massive inflation going on, there's no doubt in my mind that likely right now we're at a 5% or under a 5% number for personal savings rates, which is not good at all. That's a disaster. That's no bueno. That's all I have to say about that. When you look at kind of where we're not in a very good place as it is, but when you start talking about falling to a 5% number or under a 5% number, that's a whole different ball game from being at let's say 6 to 9%, which is where we usually are or have been for the last number of years. So yeah, people are, if your personal savings goes down massively, you're not going to have that type of money to go out there and spend and go buy the newest iPhone and go buy the newest iPad and the newest ... right? That's just the way it works. When you're flush with cash, like we were for a while when the stimulus was getting pumped out there and everything was, and people couldn't spend money. When you're flush with cash, all of a sudden it's like, hey, let's go buy a new house. Let's go buy a new car. Let's go buy the newest iPhone. Let's go buy this and that, right? But if all of a sudden you got no dang money, how are you going to buy stuff? Like, it's common sense, right?
Yeah, common sense isn't really that common though. I mean, I've seen some of the craziest things too, like people going out and getting these stimulus checks and going to the Rolex store and buying watches. I mean, people committing PPP fraud just to buy a new bag. It's all types of crazy stuff. And now that the money has run out, well, we gonna see.
And so this is extremely concerning. I wish we had an accurate number as of January 21st, 2022 right now, because I would, like I said, I would almost guarantee you we're 5% or number. And that's extremely worrisome if you're thinking about, could we go into a recession here, okay? Now, Mr. J Powell, okay? Mr. J Powell, he tries his best, okay? And respect. Yeah, he's got a tough job, I will say that. But his new nickname from me is Mr. Lag. And the reason his nickname is Mr. Lag is because this man has lagged this entire time in everything, okay? So if we go back to essentially, early 2021, what was I saying? Well, I was saying I am seeing out in the real world, based upon people I actually talk to that are in the real world, that run businesses, we're seeing inflation. Now, if we go back to early 2021 and even into mid 2021, I'd listen to Jay Powell talk, and he was acting like there was really no inflation. The reason being is he was looking at lagging indicators at the end of the day. He was looking at lagging indicators, and he's not really in the real world, and he doesn't talk with people that are really in the real world, okay? And so all of a sudden now they're looking at like, oh my gosh, inflation's gone insane because now the numbers have really started to hit, and they're seeing all these numbers.
That's the thing that's so crazy. Like, anybody that was in touch with what's going on in the world would know that inflation was a real thing. Between the gas prices going up, and that's debatable because some people think that the oil companies were just holding on to the oil to make the prices go up so they can make up money. But whether that was the case, either way, everything has started going up, from like just your carton of milk. And the thing about stuff like that is, like, the things that normal people buy, wealthy people, they don't see that kind of stuff because they have like assistants and everything. And I believe it was in a movie where the guy or it was a female that they would ask their guests, like, how much is a carton of milk? They were supposed to be running for like offices and stuff, and they'd ask how much is a carton of milk. And they'd ask that simply to see how out of touch the politician was. So, yeah.
And the worst part is they're going to see this upcoming quarter, and there's going to be even worse inflation. The numbers are going to see, because that's looking back at October, November, December. So that's the even worse part. And so they're going to say, oh my gosh, there's so much inflation. This is crazy. There's so much inflation, so much inflation. And what is going on in reality is things are deteriorating underneath the surface when it comes to actual economy in a massive, massive way. And so they're so focused on, hey, how many times are we going to raise rates this year? Everybody's predicting now 4 to 7 rate hikes this year. And I'm out here saying, I said in a video yesterday, I'm going to put my head out there, I would be amazed if they raise rates even twice this year. And I think there's a pretty decent probability, based upon the trends we're seeing, and unless those massively reverse all of a sudden, there's a very high probability they have to lower rates in 22, okay? And that's going to...
Imagine getting a house for 0% interest, them giving you a house.
Catch the Fed and everybody, completely off guard in this situation, because he's been a lag on all this stuff. They've completely lagged time and time again, because what they have to look at is they look at always lagging indicators. They're not looking at what's going actually on. The Fed's not out there looking at Google Trends data for auto loans and home loans. They're not out there talking to the local mortgage company who's saying, man, they aren't really coming in the way they were coming in, I'll tell you that much. They're out there talking to the local car dealership. They're not out there doing that, right? And so nothing catches their attention until it gets so bad that it catches their attention, right? The Fed doesn't know that small cap stocks have been crashing for months. They're kind of like, whatever, that's just small caps. And now all of a sudden it's every stock. And it's like, oh, you can't miss it now, can you, Fed? Okay? And so, unfortunately, they've lagged this whole situation, and I'm extremely worried that they're going to end up raising rates, maybe even potentially 2 times here early in 22, maybe in the spring and the summer. And that would be so detrimental, because we already have a disaster on our hands. Mortgage loans, auto loans, everything's falling through the floor. Inflation's gone crazy, but if they raise rates, it's like this, okay?
All right, I think that's enough for Kevin. You get the gist of it. I'm gonna move on to something a little bit more entertaining. I think what I had next was selling Twitch to Amazon. Let's check that out.
Everyone always asks me what it's like.
So I believe I don't know this guy from a hole in the wall. I believe this is the guy who sold his company to Twitch, sold Twitch to Amazon. My bad. And he's got a little YouTube channel, and I was interested in his video, so I wanted to check it out.
To sell a company, it can seem super glamorous with exponentially big numbers and amazing headlines, but it's also an emotional roller coaster. Let me walk you through what happened after we walked away from a deal with Google and how we got to selling our company to Amazon.
How's it going? I'm Justin Kahn from Justin.tv.
Hey guys, it's me, Justin Kahn, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Subscribe for more story times, advice, behind the scenes content, and more videos coming soon. Now, where did we leave off? After months and months of hard work, negotiation, and diligence, we had signed a deal with Google and then walked away from $1 billion. So what were we supposed to do now? To take you behind the scenes, when you sell your company, there are 4 major stakeholders. The first is the founders and operators. So that was Emmett, the CEO, my co-founder, and myself and the other founders and management team of the company. Emmett and I were on the board of Twitch, and most of the time in an acquisition, the board is going to do whatever the founder and CEO wants to do. 2, you have the rest of the board, and this is mostly investors who have backed you that have board seats. 3, we have investment bankers we've hired, in this case, Catalyst, to help us navigate and negotiate the deal with prospective buyers. These guys are expert negotiators, where we spend all our time building product. These guys spend all their time negotiating deals. After the Google deal fell through, which we tried to negotiate ourselves, we decided to hire Catalyst, and they leapt into action to drum up more interest from another buyer. 4, you have the corporate development firm of the acquirer. So these are the professional negotiators on the other side that are trying to figure out, do they want to buy your company and how much are they going to pay? So in Silicon Valley, when one big company is talking to another smaller but still big-ish company about acquiring it, word gets around fast. And when one big company wants a deal, sometimes every other big company wants that deal too. Sometimes just to prevent the other company from having it. For example, after the deal with Google went sideways, Zuck actually called Emmett up and said, hey, I want to invest $50 million and you guys should keep going. But the next big dog company to come knocking at our doors for an acquisition was Yahoo. Yahoo had been talking to us for a while, and after our bankers let them know that the company was still in play, they came back to us really quickly with a big number. $1.25 billion plus $250 million in retention. That was 50% more than what Google had just offered. Our minds were fucking blown.
Pretty decent with these edits, though.
And we immediately said, yes, please, and thank you. At the time, because we had done all this painstaking diligence for the Google deal, we said, hey, let's just use the same documents and the same diligence, and let's agree to a quick 2-week close. And Yahoo, for some reason, agreed. Then, the night before the deal was supposed to close, Emmett and the rest of the management team went over to Marissa Meyer's house. She was Yahoo's CEO, and she wanted to do a final meeting. And Marissa had a vision for Twitch that I think encompassed Twitch expanding beyond gaming to everything from fashion shows to music. And unfortunately, there was a bit of a disconnect there. Emmett and the rest of the team felt like things were working with gaming and we should continue going with the direction we had. The next day, Yahoo told us they changed their mind. And just like that, $1.5 billion gone. We'd literally gone from 0 to $1 billion to 0 to $1.5 billion to 0. Now by this time we were so exhausted and burned out. It had been almost 6 months of doing deals and we were looking for anything. And somehow Catalyst reactivated yet another buyer, Amazon. We started talking to their corporate development team and Emmett even met Jeff Bezos once. And then we agreed to do a deal. It was $1.2 billion with $200 million in retention. So how do these decisions get made? Well, after each offer, the board is obligated to discuss it. So we would get on a call, Emmett, myself, and the other board members, and talk about whether we thought it was a fair offer or whether we should keep going. And because the board is reliant on the management team, aka Emmett and the rest of the executives, to run the company, we mostly wanted to do what he wanted to do. So the entire Twitch board is on a conference call, and we're discussing some of the minor details of the deal when one of our investors, Chris Pike, said, I don't think we should do this deal.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
So as far as this Twitch thing goes, they sold the company to Amazon, and from what I'm hearing, Twitch has been going downhill since then. So it's kind of interesting to sit back and look. I mean, at least they made some good money at it. But the thing about that, just like the stocks and like with the crypto that I am, the business that I do have, I could never see myself selling it because, I mean, if you've ever been an entrepreneur, like starting something, it's like it's your baby. You know what I mean? Like I built the website on my company. I ran the videos. Obviously, I know how to do a little bit of videos. I've hired people to help with the advertising, but it's been such a learning curve. And I mean, something that started as a hobby and it just kind of, to me, it becomes like your DNA. You put all of this hard work into it for you to let it go. And that was the same thing that happened. I feel like the same thing that's going to happen to Twitch is what happened to MySpace when he sold it. Like MySpace could have been Facebook. And I'm showing my age because some people don't even know what MySpace is. But I mean, MySpace was the first social media platform where I got pretty popular in my neighborhood on, from like just a social media aspect. And once Tom, your friend from the first friend you would get from MySpace, sold his company, it just went downhill. And fun fact, you can still log into MySpace. I've recently took some of my old pictures from there. So I'm gonna let this guy talk for a little bit longer, and I'm gonna get to something a little bit more fun. Let's see what else he's talking about.
This deal was going to make everyone around the table stupid rich. No one knows what to say, and there's dead silence. 30 seconds go by. One of our investors finally breaks in with, "Why not?" And Chris says, "Well, I think the company's going to be worth more." And the other investor says,
Right.
How much more? And Chris says, "Well, I think it could be worth 3-4 billion. I don't know. I just think it's going to be worth more, and maybe we should keep going." There's another long silence. And then literally we just kept going like Chris never said anything. Everyone else just wanted to get this deal done. So we decided as a board, we're going to sell to Amazon. Third time's the charm. We're ready to sign this deal. Well, not so fast. Amazon Corp Dev calls us and said, well, they had a little bit of a change of heart, and now the deal's priced at $970 million. Take it or leave it. And you know what? We took it. It wasn't quite the $1 billion that we wanted, but, well, it was close enough. We were so fatigued from this whole process, we just wanted it to be over. And hey, that's still a life-changing amount of money. We've signed the deal. Amazon signed the deal. All our signatures are under lock and key by a bunch of lawyers. And
Yeah, y'all got 970 for Twitch. Definitely got. It's kind of sad because it's like Amazon, I just recently watched a video on this too. Amazon wanted to buy Twitch, but Amazon sells products. And what they were hoping to do was also be able to advertise products and stuff on Twitch. And it just didn't work out. And from what I hear, the people that are running the whole Twitch platform, which, I forgot, I'm streaming on Twitch as well. So I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch. It's probably definitely no one there. But, this is a learning process, but I guess you can see it. Yeah. Oh, I actually got 2 viewers. What's up to the 2 viewers that's on Twitch? But yeah. A lot of creators, their top creators are leaving Twitch because they're saying like it's not what it is, like, if that even means anything. All right, let's go to watch something fun. I want to see we're not going to watch
Folks, I hope you're ready for a Holy Smokes.
Oh, that was from Martin Luther King Day. I'm going to close it out with my dates credit card declined at a dinner. It's kind of finance, kind of dating advice. I thought it was pretty interesting because, I mean, what would you do if your card declined? I actually had something like that happen to me where the way I played it off, it didn't decline. Oh, no. What happened was I had a temporary card because I lost my card and the damn waiter wouldn't take it because obviously if you get a temporary card from the bank, it says preferred customer, something like that. It don't say your name. So she was like, she couldn't take it. But somebody like me, I always keep a safety $100 in the car. So I ended up just running out to the car and it wasn't that big of a deal. But let's see what this is about.
What happens if your car gets declined on the first?
and this is what, eight at the table. I rock with them. On the dating channel, I'm hoping to touch bases with some of them. They're in New York. I'm in New York right now. Hoping to touch bases with some of these guys in the future once I get everything situated, because I'm planning to start something similar to a podcast like that. We're gonna talk about dating, finance, sex. I'll probably start like set up another website for the sex topics, because YouTube and I know Twitch doesn't really like that. And we're gonna get to all of that. So it's gonna be 2 channels: dating, finance, and then sex is gonna be something you gotta pay for. But let's see what they talking about.
Is that the worst thing that could happen on the first date?
No. He could actually say he go into the bathroom and leave your ass with the bill. That could be the worst thing that happens on the date. But it's not the worst thing. Like, stuff happens. I remember I was with my ex in Miami, and his card declined when we was out to eat. And it was just because he's in Miami. Like, we was just in New York using the car. So it's like, I understand. And he was like, babe, I'm gonna send you the bread right now. It's just like, it's not a big deal. Like, I just feel like, say something, you know what I mean? Be honest. We all adults. If you was swiping your card all day, now at the dinner they like, what? No, decline. Okay, like, you know what I mean? Like, but if you got it, just send it to me. I'll pay for it or whatever. Because it's just like all that on the phone. I gotta call them to get this. Now that's when it starts to get embarrassing. Like, okay, now you gotta call the bank. We gotta be on hold. You gotta press 9 to speak to the operator. That is too much. Like, just send me the bread. I got it. You understand? And even if you don't got it, if it comes and you like, yo, I ain't have enough money. Listen, life happens. It really do. I'm really a sincere person like that. Like, life really happens. Like, yo, what we go say, I only expected to spend $125 on this date. The bill came out to $200. I really got it. You know what, shorty? I got my food and my drink. You good. All right, but next time, make sure your paper's straight before we ain't gonna be going through this for a long time.
Yeah, I said that actually really happened to me one time. One time, I'm on a nice little date. I gave my credit card, and my credit card got declined. First of all, I don't care what the reason is. When they come back, and I love, listen, the waitress, you the real one, for real. We was at the Budokan. She privately pulled me to the side, and it just was like, she pulled me to the side. And
I've actually been to the Budokan before. So Budokan is an expensive, I think it's Asian, I can't remember. That's how I spend my money. I don't really spend money on clothes and none of that stuff like that no more. But me and my wife, we like to go to like nice fancy restaurants, and that's one of them. So the bill was probably like $175, $200 for a meal. But yeah. So I know that was a pretty deep, expensive bill.
And like act like it was like a something not towards the bill, and she said, yeah, "Excuse me, your credit card declined." I was like, "Can you?" I said, "Can you try?" Even just saying, "Can you try one more time?" is embarrassing. So I was like, "All right." So I'm trying to figure out what was the reason for. So before I even found out the reason, I went back. I said, hey, "Listen, pardon me. I need you to take care of this bill X, Y, and Z, and I'm gonna give you the money back. Give me about like 10, 15 minutes. I'm gonna cash app you the money." And for me, luckily, you only as good as your circle. I was able to make a phone call. My boy Rich sent me the money.
I'm Rich of the group. Everybody hit me up for money, and I don't forget. So the people that owe me money, I got a list in my phone, and they get text messages every month for owing me money. And I mean, I'm cheap. I mean, all right, we're a little bit grown now, but in college it'd be like $10. Like, you owe me $10 every other week. I send you your payment is due. Like, send me some money, because you know how people be too. Like, bros be going out on dates and they owe you money and want to come back and tell you, "Yo, I went out with such and such shorty." Oh, and all I hear in my head is like, "Where's my $10?" I was like, "Oh, word? Yeah, how was that date? How much that bill came up to? You kept it cheap, bro?" Nah, yeah. It was only like 50. Where's my money? Nah, I don't be like that, but I'd be like, yeah. So when I'm gonna get paid though? Cause you taking chicks out on dates and stuff. Like, when I'm gonna get paid? That's all I'm saying.
I sent the girl the cash app. We was good, and actually I gave her threw a little something extra on top for the inconvenience. Period. And but other than that, like my credit card was declined because I had got in a car accident for the rental, and they took they maxed out my credit card. So, and I didn't even know that. Like,
Get you an American Express Platinum card. I made a video on that. Get you that free insurance.
it was just crazy.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was embarrassing.
That's embarrassing, period.
Yeah, 100%. And
But the person you with don't have to make it worse.
no, 100%. And then at the end
We
of
all
the
grown.
at the end of the day, like, long story short, you know, we handled our business that day. But she hit me with the, you know, you was styling like you got it the whole 9 yards. And
That's where she fucked up.
listen, 100. Say it again.
That's where she fucked up.
100% because
You know what I mean?
you just did that to the wrong guy.
First of all,
it is what it is. Things happen. It can happen to the best of us. I took it on the chin. I was embarrassed still at the end of the day. Like, and like I said, I threw some even extra on top of that. It happens to the wrong guy. So people who really like don't got it and things in that criteria, it happens to people who do have it.
first of all, I want to talk to you about this right quick. So this girl said this guy went with her to the nail salon to get her nails done, and she said he paid with his credit card, and she was embarrassed.
Huh? Say it again?
That
I'm trying to, let me translate this.
he took her to the nail salon to get her nails done, and he paid with a credit card, and she said she was embarrassed.
Something wrong with her. Like,
It's really weird too. Like that. It's really weird to me because, like, the thing about that is I've heard that before, and it's always from, unfortunately, people that don't understand how money works. Like, before he goes into it, I pay for everything with a credit card. I always have cash because people don't know how to use a credit card. It gets a bad name for itself. But I just bought this MacBook brand new with points, like from me swiping every day, like normal stuff. I got a business gold card that I use for advertising, and I get five times the points every time I run ads for my business. And obviously, if you're running your business correctly, or if you're just being financially responsible, you're not spending more than you're making. So it's just weird to me when women say that, because I've held a black card before. It's not really bad brag about it. I had a client that had a black card, and the first time we saw it, we was like, well, you know, it wasn't nothing not to expect. I think he was worth like $75 million. But would you call him broke if he pulled out a black card? Most people wouldn't even know what a black card looks like. Wouldn't know what to do with one, let alone to call somebody broke because he's using a credit card. And I feel like Dave Ramsey be saying stuff like that. So anyway, I'm going on a tangent.
we don't carry cash.
She's like, but then that's the thing. That's why I waited for you to say that. She's like, damn, you couldn't even use a debit card.
Oh, she's in the way. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. See, yo, this is 100% in the way. I don't even use debit card. I do have a debit card, but I don't even use a debit card.
But I'm not gonna lie to you. I look at that. I don't trust men that put everything on their credit card, because
I swipe everything on my card, like literally. But the difference and the thing about it is, if you're gonna use your card, especially if you're dating, that's why you gotta get a nice, decent one. Because when I pull out this American Express Platinum card, I get, oh, he got money type of vibe. So, but before I got that, because I just recently, like, you know, as you grow, you're learning and whatnot. So I just recently had learned about it. I've probably had it for, I don't think it's even been a year. But before that, I was just using a regular card, getting cash back. And, you know, it is what it is.
I feel like you're trying to look like you got it and you don't got it. Like, that's how I feel.
Really?
Yes, I do not. Because my thing is, I be telling everybody, I'm not no credit card type of bitch. I be using my debit card. That's why when certain people do certain shit, I be like, okay, Miss Credit Card, because I definitely use my debit and I have to make that money back. Like, I'm not paying for it $25 payments a month like your ass. So I be like, it's two different lifestyles. You can live a credit card lifestyle or a debit. Like, I live a debit and it's a hard life. but I do it.
All right, so now let me just say this with all due respect. This is the difference between people who understand finance and people who don't understand finance. Everybody that has it, right, and understand finance, I'm a licensed financial advisor, we using the credit card. That's what you use. Not only that, what you do, the reason why, let me give you Finance 101, the reason why you want to use your credit card, because you want to establish something. If you got the cash, only thing you doing is you just swiping with your credit card. When that bill rolls, when it goes through, all right, when you get the bill, you just take your cash that you have in your checking account, and then you pay off your credit card.
That's how I
Period. So
do it.
these is the things you develop in a relationship,
Not
huh?
the minimum.
Not the minimum payment either. No,
Right.
no, you got to listen.
Okay.
Not the minimum payment. You're right.
All right.
Not the minimum payment. So this is the difference between now you're establishing a relationship. So then now within 2 to 3, I don't even say 6 months, but between 2 to 3 months, when they see this type of transaction going and they see that you pay majority off on your credit card, then now you can ask for a credit increase. You can do that every 3 to 6 months. This is the type of conversations that we need to have. I'm not using debit cards. First of all, and let me just say this, would you look at me differently if I told you that I don't even have a personal account?
Checking account?
Yeah, personal checking account.
That just means you use cash all the time. This is
No,
my
that's
thing.
not true.
All
I
right.
just use everything off the business
All right,
account.
but this is the thing with me, right? You have to be smart when you're using credit cards, and this is for everybody out there. Know what type of credit card you are getting. So my credit card, I know that I get points when I grocery shop. I know I get points when I use gas. When I buy gas, I know I get points when I shop on Amazon. I know I get points when I go to restaurants. So if you get a credit card, make sure it's with a purpose. Some people get credit cards, they don't even know the certain benefits of having it. And okay, the point of credit cards is not, oh, here's $50, Rod, and then you pay me $50 back tomorrow. That's not really always establishing. What are you getting out of that? Like, you understand? It's just like, use credit cards smart. If you know you get 5% cash back shopping on Amazon, use that credit card for that and then pay it off.
So that's interesting though, because as you can see, so she does understand how credit cards work. So why would she look at someone funny if they're constantly using a credit card? That's just weird to me. I don't get it, but
you getting money back. Some people don't really know the benefits of a credit card. They just think, oh, buy now, pay later. And it's like, it's more than just establishing. You could really get more for your buck when you're using a credit card. So for me, if I'm not using my credit card with a purpose, being that I'm getting some points to it, I'm just going to use my debit card. And also I have a business account. So it's just like when I buy stuff for my business, I use my business account so I'll be able to write it off. So I'm like, so many people are uneducated when it comes to credit cards and debit cards and how to establish a relationship. And some people don't even have the financial backup that they be spending. So some people's not even responsible enough for a credit card. So my thing is, it's just like what I said is,
But people
if a
who use
person
it-
that's always swiping, if I don't know you like that, I got to think in my back of my head, does this person got it? Are they financially responsible? Even though I don't know how you paying your credit card, it's still a worry to me because credit it means a lot. It means that you can't get a car, you can't get a house. You know what I mean?
Well, let me just say this now, because you could actually use your credit card to go buy a house. If you got a $15,000, say if you got a $15,000 credit limit, you might have to use a whole lot of ATMs to get that money out. But you can, like, it's many different ways. Let me just say this: I haven't looked at my rewards on my credit card in a very long time, and maybe I'm spoiled. Maybe it's the circle that I'm around now. It's a little different. However, you should never judge a person because he's just swiping with his credit card. I swipe my credit card for everything. For it's a business expense. First of all, it's a business credit card. So when I'm eating and when I'm going out and I don't want to say certain things. I forgot the IRS and all of my but everything is a business expense at the end of the day. So you should never judge a person. You never judge a person because he swipes with his credit card at the end of the day. Because just because he got using his debit card doesn't mean he ain't overdrafting his debit card. I mean, he's not overdrafting his account. That doesn't mean anything.
I just learned my lesson. One time I caught a flat tire. I was with my daughter, and only thing I had on me was my credit card. I left my debit card at home by mistake, and guess what?
and that's why I keep extra money in the car. Huh. speaking of the extra money, that's a story time moment. Cause I almost thought I got robbed for my little chump change. I think the time it was like $300, but yeah, maybe I shouldn't tell that story. Almost got into a fight. I won't tell that story.
But the motherfuckers didn't take no goddamn credit card to change.
I already started. I'm gonna tell it. Whatever. So I leave money in the car, and I went to valet park the car, and I still feel like I wasn't drinking enough. I still feel like dude moved my money because it was in one spot, and it wasn't in that spot. And when I went up to press him about the bread, like he started to get loud, and then I started to get loud too, and then my younger brother, who's my little bigger brother, and I'm like 10 years older than him. Somebody came out from the dude's side, and then my brother started to get damn, they don't want y'all to hear this. He started to get ready to fight as well, and is this gonna come back to me? It did. And I went and I looked at him and I said, oh, he is wilding. And if I knew I was about to wild, because I'm a little bit older now. We don't do all that fighting, all that stuff. That's it is what it is. And I seen him start wilding. I was like, oh nah, we can't go to jail out here. It's only $300. And then yeah, that was pretty much the end of it. And then so I still feel like he moved it, but I found it. And the thing about it I don't know. I think it's a hood thing. I can't tell you what it is, but like when your money is missing, you always think someone stole it. So whatever. I found the money, and then I went to apologize. So I tried to throw him $40, and he was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" Like I was like, "All right, cool." And my thing is, even though we was about to fight, if you offer me $40 after realizing you wrong. And mind you, he a valet guy. Like, I'm going to take the 40. But, that's just me.
My tire. I had to either pay in cash, and I didn't. I was, across the street from a gas station. It was just like, but I have a credit card. How am I going to take out money?
You can do that, though.
I know, but I don't want to pay that interest back or whatever it is. It's just like, I'm funny like that when it comes to credit cards. Like, you spend $1, they want to charge you $2 for spending $1. It's just like, no.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know that most, like, the people who got it, they use their Amex for everything. That's a credit card.
Yeah.
So they use that. They can't even, Hov said, like, where we go, we can't even use cash. Mm-hmm. Right? They don't even accept cash there. If you ain't swiping, you're in the wrong place of business.
Yeah, but I know I've been in relationships with people when they don't have fucked up credit. Okay, mm-hmm. And that was something I was not paying attention to. You think it's a card, because at that time I didn't have a credit card. So I'm thinking a card is just a card, and they sitting here and they backed up on their bills. They have this to pay for, that to pay for. I always tell myself, if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it.
Yeah.
So
3 times. If you can't buy it 3 times, you can't afford it.
We say 3 times. We got that rule.
My guy. Here we go.
3 times. If you're gonna spend $2,000, you got to make sure you got at least $6,000 to $8,000 in that account.
Because you never know what might happen.
Yeah.
And that's how you end up in a hole. But yeah, I'm judging.
Yeah, don't judge. Well, not so. Listen. Do you? Let me ask you a question. Because I like to ask women, if I'm taken seriously, what's your credit look like? Like, what do you?
Ooh, flip it on her. Ask her what her credit look like. Like, that's crazy. Flip it on her. Because a lot of females,
What are you doing?
7, 7, 7.
You have to look. She wants.
Because I know how.
Listen, everybody will brag once they got a good credit score. I promise you. You ask me my credit score, I'll flash it to you too. But I mean, the thing about a credit score that's interesting too is just because you got a good credit score doesn't mean if you don't have a certain amount of income, you're not going to get a high credit limit anyway. Like my brother's credit score is like 730 or something like that. He was talking to me about it because I was telling him about the benefits of the American Express Platinum card. And he was saying like he wanted to get one too. I honestly don't know if he could get one because, I mean, he's got a decent credit score, but he ain't got no job. You know what I mean? So like all you got to do is pay your stuff on time, have a certain amount of accounts. But the thing about it is these credit, which is interesting because they never verify. Like you can tell a credit card company that you make over $500,000. That might be fraud. Don't quote me on that. But I've never been asked for like pay stubs and stuff like that. So I just tell them what I have, how much I make, and every once in a while you ask them for sometimes they'll raise it on their own, or you ask them for like a raise, and you know, I got some decent credit though.
Listen, talk.
I know how to use one.
Now, mind you, you asked what that credit score looking like. She talking about now. If you say that, now my next question is, do you own property? Because if you got, what you just want to look good with a 750, 720, so you're not even using, which shows that you don't know how to use your credit.
Facts.
That's your leverage. So it's a whole lot of questions that I be, that has to ask. And now women, when you ask that, women get uncomfortable. They be like, why you asking me asking this? Like you researching me. I gotta research you. I need to see are you responsible? Can you handle this? The whole 9 yards. How do you feel about that? Men asking like.
No, I sometimes I even volunteer that information. Like, cause I make a lot of money. Like I do make a lot of money at my job, but I grew up poor, broke. Nobody in my family really had good money management skills, so I kind of like grew up like that. So here I am with all this money, and I'm flying. I'm out. My daughter got everything the hell she needs. She got the new this, she got the new that. We out, she out every weekend. We out to eat every weekend. I was not putting money away because I did not have no financial guidance. So now, after me living by myself, after being in a relationship for a few years, and I have to stand on my own, I actually have more money now than I did with somebody, because it's not a crutch anymore. You have to do what you have to do.
So when the last time you bought a man a gift?
Never.
The last time I had a man.
I don't know how these people do this for so long. Like, just stay. People be on these streams for like 3 hours. I'ma play. I wanted to play. I had a couple finance videos. The Ark Invest Kathy that was a good one, where she was breaking down inflation. But I might just end it with, I had like 29 in the clip. Yeah. I'm going to react to a video that I made and call it a day. It's called "You're an Idiot If You Spend Over $25 on a First Date." And yeah, like, especially this, I thought it was a lie. This video was perfect because when I was dating, it was a lot of tricks that I had to not spend as much money. And obviously I'm married, but me personally, I feel like every guy should date. That's the only way to figure out what you like and what you don't like. And dating is expensive, obviously, as a guy. So Anthony O'Neill, he does a lot of finance, pretty decent guy. I've reacted to a couple of videos of his, and I haven't seen this video since I dropped it probably like almost a year ago. So I wanted to react to this.
Could you believe that a young lady would not date me because I told her it's not in my budget?
Man,
What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about how to date on a budget, and we're starting right now.
Brim low on my fitted, dreams has always been vivid. I'm just trying to go get it, catch me right around and I'm ignorant, I'm just rolling.
Now, I've been on over 1,000 dates.
What?
How, Sway? So I think I know what I'm talking about when it comes to going on cheap dates. So fellas, if she really, that's not cap. I'm not fresh and fitting it out here either. I've been on over 1,000 dates, and certain stuff when you get older, it's not nothing to be proud of, but it's kind of, when I started doing this, when I started dating females, like, it's like one of those things where you, like, the people that I grew up around, especially in middle school and high school, I grew up around a lot of guys that dated around a lot, and they used to kind of make jokes about the fact that, like, as a man, if you can't get girls, people tease you. Like, if you're in that circle, at least the circle that I was in. So I started getting good with talking to females, and started, first was getting numbers, and then numbers went to dates, and then dates went to, so it was a progression over time. And over the time of trying to perfect that craft, like, I went on a significant amount of dates. and wasted a ton of money. I should be a millionaire if I had invested some of that money, but whatever. Really cares about where the first date is, she's probably not interested in you. And if she is interested in you, it's for all the wrong reasons. Especially if she tries to convince you to take her somewhere fancy.
No, 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 no. Hell no, no.
Quick story time. You guys know my story. I was young, fly, and flashy. Hey, there I go. There he go. Wait, run it back. People out here doing a money challenge. Oh, man. Putting 10, Lord have mercy. Story time. You guys know my story. I was young. Oh, man, this picture is hilarious. So this is going to bring me... I'm going to have a couple clips from this little live stream. So quick story time for this, from this picture, right? Dating this chick. Met her on MySpace. She was not all that attractive, but she is top 5 from the triple X. Like, everything was fire. And while I was in college or whatnot, she ended up having a baby or whatever. And you know, we preached the whole wrap it up and everything thing. I don't know. I need to give you a whole full story about it. To make a long story short, she lied to me and told me that she was pregnant. And my mother, what's that? That's Twitch. Threw me off. My mother, my mom pretty much cursed me out because she was like, you got all of these pictures with you flashing these magnums online. You couldn't put one goddamn one on. And to be honest with you, I was speechless because she was a little project chick too from around the way. And oh, that was the other thing. She had one kid. So I would, if it was true, I would have been number 2. But let me tell you how stupid I was, because I was in college. So when I finally came home from hanging out with her, when she told me she was pregnant, it was like a week later. And like my mother started to, after she cursed me out, mind you, my mother's a Christian woman. After she cursed me out about potentially getting this girl pregnant and telling her that she has another kid already, she was like, well, how long, when did you meet this girl? Did you meet her in college? Because you were only up here for like 4 or 5 days. And I was like, no, I met her out here. And she was like, that was like last week. There's no way she knows she's pregnant. And she had basically tricked me into telling me that she was going to have my baby, had me up here. And I was tearing. I ain't even going to lie. I was, because I'm in college, which is about 6-7 hours away, and she in New York. And 1 minute she's like, all right, I'm going to have this, I'm going to delete this baby. And then the other minute she's like, I don't need you. I'm going to do it myself. And I was just like, that was just a whole wreck. And then when my mother finally, I got the balls to actually tell my mother, she laughed at me, pretty much. She laughed at me and made fun of me. So, but anyways, back to this. Fly and flashy. So naturally, whew, look at that body. Women thought I had money.
He nasty, but he got money though.
That was me. He nasty, but he got money. I took this one chick out on a date, and when the waiter came, I had to go to the bathroom. So I ordered real quick and told her to get whatever she wanted. And when I returned from the bathroom, the food came, and this ordered 3 appetizers and an entree.
Y'all know it's coming. Insert dog face here.
And I'm like,
I can't eat. I'm broke.
You not about to eat all of that. And she said, well, not today, but I'll save some for later. I looked at her and smiled and said, I'll let you keep 1 appetizer and 1 entree, but you know, we f***ing tonight. And she laughed, and I didn't. And later on that night, I gave her that long dick and never called her after that.
Gotcha, bitch.
See, guys, we know some women go on dates just to eat. It's a part of the game, fellas. I'm sorry. But here's how you avoid that at all costs. For starters, always offer to have a nice romantic glass of wine at your place. I always recommend that first for 2 reasons. 1, because you don't want to take a thotty out on a date. And 2, because if she's already comfortable enough to Netflix and chill with you, why would you take her somewhere less intimate? But say that doesn't work. Option 2 is to take her somewhere fun and free. So grab that bottle of wine and head to the beach or the park. If she's hungry, stop by a fancy fast food spot like Chick-fil-A. Nothing but the best for her. Option 3, if you don't want to take her to the beach or park, I suggest coffee or Cold Stones. If she asks why we can't go on a
That Cold Stone works perfectly though.
dinner date, just tell her that you want to make sure she's cool first and not to worry, because if she plays her cards right, we can do dinner after. But say you don't want to go with the first 3 options because you're not as cheap as me. Option 4, happy hour. And bring a couple small shots with you, because if she's cool, she'll love the idea that you snuck a couple alcohol shots in. So not only do you get cheap food at happy hour, but you also get cheap drinks too. Option 5 is to go eat dinner before you go out with her. If she asks why you're not ordering food, just tell her you're on a diet. Or you can say you didn't eat all day and couldn't wait till 7 o'clock to eat. In my experience, half the time, if you don't order food, a chick will feel awkward eating in front of you. So those are just a few tips on how to lower the bill. And I consider dating fun. You can't work your whole life and not enjoy it. So I like to ball on a 10% budget.
10%.
What the hell are you talking about?
Talk to him.
Whatever you make, take 10% and put that aside to have fun with. The other 90% is simple. 50% should be invested in a business, future real estate, or stocks. 40% will be living expenses. So what comes out of the 10% is simple. Any partying you do, dating, the fun things you do with your friends, all of that is in the 10%. An example of that is, say you make $3,000 a month after taxes. You have $300 a month to go on a date with and hang out with your friends. So basically, you got about $75 a week. Depending on how cheap you are with these dates, it can be easily 1 to 3 dates a week. So while we're in the spirit of dating on a budget, I thought it'd be interesting to react to a video called Dating on a Budget Gone Wrong. So check this out.
Could you believe that a young lady would not date me because I told her it's not in my budget? She didn't return a phone call. She ain't do nothing. And I'm sitting here like, well, what the heck? Y'all, she didn't text me for 2 months. Keep it live. We'll be right back. So check this out, y'all. Check this out. I already have a video out talking about a young lady who wouldn't date me because I don't have a credit score. And I'm not going after ladies. Let me say this right now. But I do have a problem when young ladies try to play your boy. Like, what in the world? So you guys know me. I budget. I budget every single month. At the end of the month, I always, list in my cash flow. Then I also put out what I have going out. Inside of my budget, because I am a single man and I'm dating for a purpose, for marriage, I do have a line item for dates. That line item is not a lot. I'm not going to give you the particular number, but it's not that much.
I'll tell y'all what it was. It was $300.
So about a few months ago, I took this young lady out. We went out to dinner. She texted me. She says, hey, first date was cool, but can we go to this particular restaurant next weekend? I didn't respond because I wanted to go home and check my budget and make sure that, okay, I can afford it inside of my budget. So when I go home, I realized it's gonna take me over that particular line item in my budget for dating. So I asked myself, all right, do I tell her the truth? Like, I was thinking about just lying, y'all, to be real. I was gonna be like, can't go, I'm busy. But then you know what? The Holy Spirit said, no, don't lie. Show her the caliber of man that you are. So I sent her a text message that says, hey, unfortunately, I can take you out next weekend, but I can't take you to this particular restaurant because if I do, this will take me over my dating budget for the month. I will be more than happy to budget this in for next month if we are still dating. So
there was just a much smoother way to say it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, you could just use my thing and like, you could have followed up with her, took her to a bar, something cheap. You could have said you didn't want to do something indoors and did something outside. Like, that's not what women want to hear, that's for sure. And
you don't know what type of woman you dealing with until you take her out on that first date anyway. So it is what it is, I guess.
So I send it, and I got an iPhone. And then on the iPhone, y'all know how it happens. When they start typing, that big old bubble come up with a ... I'm thinking like, okay, cool, we good. Then the ... goes away, and nothing comes in. And I'm sitting there, I'm emotional, like, dang, did I just play myself? Damn, did she just play me? Y'all, she didn't text me for 2 months. She didn't return a phone call. She ain't do nothing. And I'm sitting here like, well, what the heck? How is she gonna sit here and say, you know what? I can't respond to that because a man's gonna stick to his budget. That's sad. So she seen me on a particular national show. Ain't gonna say who, but she seen me on TV. She sends me a text message and she says, hey, just seen you on such and such. How are you? What about that date? I started typing and I really wasn't typing nothing. I just wanted her to see the ... and I didn't hit send.
I'm disappointed. I would have told her I'm too busy for dating right now, but we can hang at the crib. I've got a nice rooftop and a nice bottle of wine, so you can come through. Then gave her that long and never called her again.
Because here's the thing, you can't play me.
I was just about to say that's what I would have did, but I already said it.
And then honestly think I'm gonna come back to you after you've done me like that. What's the whole purpose of this story? My vision for my life and for my money, because I stuck to it, it actually blocked me from dating a particular young lady that probably wasn't healthy for me.
Exactly, guys. She just wanted the experience. She didn't really like him.
So to anyone who's out there dating, when you have a budget, you stick to that budget. Your plan is your pathway to your future. You stick to that plan. You stick to the vision. Where there is no vision, that's where people perish. And I believe when we just go out there and just spin and let people manipulate us into changing our plan and our vision for our life, things happen. I could have took her to the restaurant. Honestly, I could have took her that next weekend, but I didn't want to change my budget around because at the end of the day, that's what I said I'm going to do.
So if you like this video, the video you're gonna want to watch next is top 8 places to meet rich women. Top 8 places to meet rich women. All right, I'm done. I appreciate y'all coming out. This stream's gonna get better. I'm gonna obviously get a little bit active with the stream deck and the laptops and all of this stuff that I got going on. Figured try to start doing this at least once a week and then clip some of these up and then put them on the finance channel. And then once I get good at it, I mean, finance channel, it blew up, so to speak, from the shorts that I've done. But I mean, obviously the Confidence Created channel is my baby. So I don't want to just, I don't know, I'm real particular about like putting stuff on there that I don't think is like top notch. And since this just blew up, and obviously most of the people, it's 6 of y'all in here, I appreciate y'all being in here, but like everybody else, I have no idea where the other people, like you on the Confidence Created channel, I have, the analytics say I have about 1,300 average viewers, unless I put out a terrible video topic that nobody wants to see. But usually I got a decent audience on there. So is that it? Yeah, no, clipping these up. Once I get this good podcast, call and follow up with the guy on Monday, because like I said, we're gonna be talking finance is gonna be on this channel. Obviously, we're gonna have dating on the other channel, and we're gonna have sex. And I'm gonna tell you about what I do for a living. All of that stuff is coming up. So just waiting. Hopefully it won't be more than another couple months. You're gonna see me start to travel around a little bit because I'm getting back into it and canceling COVID because I said that. Shouldn't have said that. But yeah, appreciate. Oh yeah, shout outs to Elevation Allen for coming through. We had Cake. Who else we had in here? We had Cake. I've seen her in my. I try to read all my comments. We had Shadow Love. Yeah, so definitely gonna do this again. Gotta get better at this. Appreciate y'all showing love, and I will holla at y'all. Peace.